In 2016, I decided to cut ties with all forms of mainstream media. It was meant to be temporary. It was just a little experiment I was trying out because the closeted Buddhist in me was thinking, well, aren't we doing a hell of a lot of damage with all this negativity? Ingesting everyone's grievances first thing in the morning in the name of being informed? I mean, sure, it makes for shit. Sorry. All right, so sure, it's a stab at being knowledgeable and empathetic, but make that the collective diet day after day. And of course, you get a sick and depressed organism. So I decided I would turn it all off. I would simply tune out. No TV, no social media, no news feeds on my phone or computer, no glancing at screens mounted on the walls of public places, and no eyeing newspapers or magazines in checkout lines. First-hand experience would be my only experience for a while. And if you've ever wondered if it's true that ignorance is bliss, well, I'm here to tell you, it's awesome. But I got hooked. I am addicted to not knowing. And it's not as if I needed another addiction, but unlike beer and weed and cigarettes, mental health-wise, fit as a fucking fiddle. I am mindful of every piece of information that comes in, and thankfully, my loved ones are supportive of my habit. They know what my deal is, and they comply. My boyfriend's amazing. He is up to date on everything, and he respectfully tells me nothing. Once in a while, I'll ask. I'll take a deep breath and say, okay, what's going on in the world? And he just takes off with these stories of horror and absurdities and anger and catastrophe and impending doom until I say, okay, stop it, that's enough. Jesus Christ, how do you get out of bed in the morning? Then again, how do I sleep at night? Where's my sense of empathy and responsibility and we're all in it togetherness? Well, I understand that mine is not a very popular stance, so it's not anything I go yelling from the rooftops. But I do like to write things down. This is how I manage to live with myself. I have these debates inside my head, and then I write about my own moral and ethical dilemmas. And it's not like I write for a very huge audience, but it's important that my friends and family read me from time to time. I'll self-publish stuff that circulate, and I'll do public readings because, well, conversationally, I like to keep things light and funny and positive, and I might come across as shallow. But those who read me know that there are other dimensions to me. They understand that I'm not that complacent deep down. But here's the thing. A few years ago, I moved from my beloved Montreal to a very charming Normandin, Quebec. It is a small village 500 kilometers north from here, fin fond du lac Saint-Jean, and it is very francophone. So I've made lots of new friends there, but they have not read me, they have not read my all Anglo content. They don't know about my ostrich status or the reasons behind it. They just see a girl with a blank expression on her face whenever anything topical comes up. My need to read, for them to read what I write is getting intense, and I can only see one solution. I need to start writing in French. And that too is quite a bit shameful because my mother tongue is French. I'm from Grand Falls, New Brunswick, or if you prefer, Grand Sault, Nouveau-Brunswick. Very bilingual. We actually switch from one language to the other every second sentence. And Well, I'm technically francophone, but I've spent big chunks of my life speaking in English only, depending on where I lived at the time. But no one can be upset with me for being an Anglophile because I ended up falling in love with a French Quebecer, and we are raising our family entirely en français. So you can understand that there are some parts that I did not want to give up, and I was convinced that I would continue writing in English only. Or to be more specific, if you wanted me to write in that rigid and formal language, the French one, you had to pay me. Veuillez agréer, monsieur, madame, mes salutations distinguées. Oh, va donc chier. Don't get me wrong, I have absolutely nothing against the spoken French, probably because no one speaks the way it's written. It's not even close. A short while ago, I was talking with a Guatemalan friend who was asking me what the French word chepa meant. Chepa? Ah, je sais pas. Oh, okay, it means I don't know. Je ne sais pas. Yeah, it's gonna get complicated. Quelle heure est-il is actually pronounced quelle heure qui est. And je vais descendre is pronounced m'a débarqué. And cela ne fait aucun sens is pronounced ben voyons donc tabarnak. Yeah, jargon is tough. In English, I try to write exactly how I speak, but if I tried that in French, I mean, it would be blasphemy. Or would it? I started changing my mind about this in January. You see, my mom passed away, and when it was time to write the eulogy, I remembered that I was in Grand Sault, and that I could write exactly the way I used to speak, switching from French to English to French. And it all came out so naturally. And then I wrote friends to tell them about my mom's passing and the time spent with my family, this time completely in French. And you know what? It really wasn't that bad. It was actually quite an enjoyable writing experience, which led me to think, well, maybe I could translate some of my old material. I mean, there's tons of stuff I'd love to share. There we go again. So I started translating this text that I had just posted in English. And yeah, I'm posting now. I joined Facebook when I moved to Normandy. Love it. But I was in the middle of translating this text when a friend wrote to me to say that she had copied my story into a translation app because she wanted to read it in French. And I was like, what? You read it in French already? Oh, whoa, hold on, I didn't write that. I mean, here I was translating word for word when it hadn't even occurred to me to check out how the robot would do it. I mean, the robot doesn't know how we speak over here. This is for sure going to be a massacre. But I check it out, and what do you know? The robot did a half-decent job. The translation was somehow colloquial. I mean, how is that even possible? Now, it wasn't perfect by any means. For example, my boyfriend was translated to mon petit ami. Ugh. Come on, robot. I would never say that. But then I got more specific and asked for a Quebecois translation, and my boyfriend was translated to mon chum. Good job, robot. How did you know? Not that I would trust the app on its own just yet. I chat GPT the story I'm telling you right now. Ben non, robot, c'est pas la weed, c'est le weed. Puis, c'est pas des clopes, c'est des tops. But the French the expression, my body wreaking havoc to my body, that was first translated to bousiller le corps, whatever that means, was then translated in Québécois to scraper le corps. Good job, robot. And that's nothing. Do you know how the robot translated fit as a fucking fiddle? This is amazing. I write, mental health-wise, fit as a fucking fiddle. Translation, côté santé mentale, je pète le feu. Je pète le feu? That is exactly how I would say fit as a fucking fiddle in French. So, yeah, that blows my mind, and I'm starting to get it. It takes me forever, but I'm finally starting to understand that depending on what you feed the machine, well, it's like everything else in life. You get what you give. So I'm starting to put myself out there a bit more. I'm going to bilinguify with the help of AI, and I'm going to invent new words if I feel like it, because the robot may not know it, but I'm still boss. I'm going to put myself out there, but I'm still going to be very careful of what makes its way in. I'm going to start by reviving an old project of mine. It's called The Pondering Ostrich, because having your head in the sand gives you lots of time to think.